This podcast is a celebration of women who are shaping culture, influencing the world, and boldly stepping into the entertainment industry to create God-honoring content across all media platforms. I'm your host, Shari Rigby. Grab your coffee, settle in, and join me for an inspiring ride. I get to welcome my dear friend, JD DeWitt, and we are going to talk about all things entertainment, media, family, and women. I mean, this is going to be a great show. So how you doing, sweet friend?
Doing really good.
I am so excited. Well, first of all, congratulations on County Rescue. You are up for some awards. You want to tell us I know, right behind you. Tell us a little bit about that.
We got awards. We have been nominated for Best Drama in the Faith and Family category and the Epiphany Award. And we have several lead actors, but two of them have been nominated for their roles as Danny and Tim, as Julia Riley and Riley Hall.
Incredible. 3 awards for County Rescue. And the Epiphany Award is a big deal. I mean, that's one that we know is really important in our faith and family space. And just congratulations. And I love both of those people so much. And in fact, I was on today earlier with Julia, and we were talking a little bit about Danny Miller and her character. So I would love for you to just dive into, how did this show come about, and why did you believe it was important to create a show like this? Take us a little bit on that journey of creating County Rescue and what it's looked like, because you've not only done now season 1, but you just finished season 2 as well.
Yes. So as an executive producer who packages projects and content and develops from nothing, I have a lot of relationships with executives and streamers and studios and such. When I connect with people and meet with them, I always ask, what are you looking for? What are your needs? What don't you have on your platform that you would like to have? That's just kind of how I operate in a general conversation, whether we've met or not. I'm always wanting to know, what are your new mandates? My company, Fear Not Productions, started in October of 2021. In January of 22, I was on with an executive at PureFlix, and I just asked my questions. What do you not have that you want? Maybe I have it in my catalog and my slate. At the time, PureFlix was with Sony, and it's now with Great American. At the time, it was with Sony, and John Shepard was who I was speaking with. And I just asked him that question. He goes, "We would love to have a cop show. We would love to have a medical drama." And of course, I had neither. So I'm like, okay, great. Good chat. But I also have many relationships in the publishing industry and with screenwriters based on another business venture I have called Connecting Writers with Hollywood. And I would connect writers in the Pacific Northwest with producers and people in LA that they would not normally have that connection, right? So I just wanted to put that out there to show I have a reach. And so I just started making some calls. I'm like, I also am a competitive person. If I don't have something that somebody wants, I'm like, get this fire in me. Like, now I have to figure this out and make this happen. That's just how I'm wired. And so I just, within that month, made some calls and found a screenwriter who I had been working with on another project, had no idea of her background. But when I said, look, do you have anything in your mind or in your computer or something that is in these 2 areas? And she said, oh my goodness, I used to be an EMS worker. And,
wow.
That's what I did for a living. And I'm now a screenwriter, and she was working on a TV show at the time. So she goes, I can whip up a treatment. No problem. Literally within a week, I had a treatment. I brought it back to John, who was like, whoa. They ended up picking up the show without a pilot or anything. It was fantastic. Wow. I love being able to meet needs of people. And it turns out that the writer didn't end up doing our series. She's working on some other primetime shows, but she got us going. And I really am grateful to her for that. So that's how County Rescue got started, literally a phone conversation and a couple other calls. I know that's rare, but a huge blessing for Fear Not Productions to have that being right out of the gate.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, and here you are again, you just finished season 2. So we're going to look forward to seeing that coming up. Talk a little bit about this journey, because I know you've been on a journey. I've known you now for, I think I was thinking back, and I want to say it's been like 10 years.
Oh, yeah, a while. Gosh.
Yeah, I know.
I think I met you in 2016 at NRB.
Yeah, I guess so. It's almost 20. Yeah. So a little under 10 years, but it's interesting because we all go on this journey. So talk a little bit about the journey. Like, where did you start and where you're at today? What has that journey look like for you? Because I know you didn't really start in faith, and it seems like that's kind of where you're at right now. So talk a little bit about that journey.
I live in Spokane, Washington, and my, at the time, 15-year-old son, he was in his theatrical community at school, in high school, and there was one talent agency here in town. I didn't know anything, right? I did work with authors. I had my own literary agency and was working with writers, a whole different world, right? When you're working with authors. And so my son, his name is Austin, and he got in this talent agency and he just began booking modeling gigs. He's on like magazine spreads for teenage high-end boutiques, and he was just loving this. But I had to go to set with him because he was a minor. And so I would go on these sets with him. And one time I'm sitting with all the moms, being quiet, being so good and representing my son well. And I remember we were, how glamorous filming is. We were sitting in like a warehouse on the floor, a cold warehouse in 15-degree weather. And they had little space heaters for the moms. Anyway, I was just minding my own business. And this woman with literally a clipboard just came charging in, and she's scanning the room. She said, "You come, we're ready. Come on." And I was like, oh my gosh, Austin, was I supposed to be with my son? Like, I feel terrible if I held things up. I don't know anything. And she takes me to this gymnasium. It's a campus. It's Gonzaga University. It's a campus. We walk through this whole thing. I still don't know what's going on, but she is just like, I just didn't feel like I was allowed to ask questions. This was years ago, okay? Like 16, 17 years ago. I get to this gymnasium and my son's sitting up in the bleachers with other people. And there's these actors, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s there, James Woods. And so I just was like flopped down in the middle of this gym in front of James Woods. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, literally don't know. I finally asked, like, I'm sorry, my son is over there. Like, I'm real, professional. They're like, and so I just said, okay, I don't know what you want me to do. And she said, aren't you Angie Harmon's stand-in?
Are you serious? That's amazing.
I didn't even know what a stand-in was. And I said, no. I knew who she was. I adore her, right? So I said, nope. And they said, well, you are now. I think they thought I was an extra in the back room and I was sitting in the wrong place. So they were frustrated with me. So I was with the moms. Anyway, I became a stand-in for 3 days for Angie Harmon. No idea. Just in limousines with Cuba Gooding Jr. in the back, like so thrown in. And I love that story because I worked with authors and I was just a mom on set, right? Okay. Skip forward a year or so. They started filming about 4 movies a year here in Spokane, Washington. We had a full-fledged facility, production service company. I still wasn't involved with any of that. And one talent agency. And at that time, I was a literary agent. Publishing erupted. And people were not needing agents, especially, newer ones. I wasn't with a big New York company or anything like that. And I got a call. Again, you guys, I get thrown into stuff and it cracks me up because I got a call one day from this intimidating British woman. And she just said to me, I answered the phone, it was my business phone. So I answered at the time the View Literary Agency. And she said, I can't get any help here. I got your number. I'm hoping you can help me. And I said, sure, how can I help you? And she said that they're filming in 2 days a scene with Christian Slater, and she needs a size 2, 5'10" blonde woman on set, and nobody in Spokane can help. So what can you do for me? It was very
Are you kidding?
abrupt. Yeah. And I said, oh no, I'm not that kind of an agent. I'm not a talent agent. I'm a literary agent. And I only knew how to say talent agent because my son was doing stuff and I dealt with his, right? And she goes, oh, so you can't help me either. Like in her British accent, it sounded so cool. And I said, well, sure, let me help you. She goes, so you can do this for me. I said, yes. I hung up and I'm like, what am I doing? Why did I, again, that fire again? It's like, I will deliver. I don't know what
do it.
So I go through my mom email Yahoo account and I'm going through all of Austin's photo shoots with this beautiful girls, blah, blah, blah. And so I found one, her name was Katie, and it's like been 18 months and I emailed Katie, hey, I'm Austin's mom, remember me, blah, blah, blah. I don't know where she lives or anything. And I said, hey, I have an opportunity here. I'll pass you along to the people who have the right information if you're interested. I'm shocked, but she emailed back within the hour and said, oh, I live in Seattle. And I was kind of deflated. She goes, but I'm in Spokane visiting my parents. And I said, okay, can you send me your headshot, like with your size specs? I knew enough to ask that with Austin,
Right.
She did. She's 5'10", size 2, blonde, in Spokane visiting her parents. I send the headshot over to this British woman who scared me. And within seconds, my phone rings and she said, is this real? And I said, yeah, she's here. She's available. She said she would do it. I don't know what else to tell you or give you. That British casting director fell in love with me. And she's like, you are incredible. Like, who are you? What are you doing?
Wow.
So Katie did the scene. Katie saved the day, or Austin, I don't know, whoever, because I had this connection. So I created a talent agency because there was a need. And I ran a boutique talent agency. I had 150 capped with a waiting list of people to get in. And we booked people on Portlandia, Rim, Leverage. At the time, those were the shows.
Wow.
6 years around that.
Wow.
And then I'm like, you know what? I don't want to work with actors. Sorry, Shari. It's like,
No, I say that all the time. I'm like, I don't want to do it. Go play pickleball. I get it.
Okay, thank you. And I'm like, probably because I had already worked with writers, and writers they'll write something and then they'll reach out every 6 months. Actors are like, did you get me a job? Can I? Yeah, it's just constant. And so I sold the agency and started my own management company because now I knew the lingo between Hollywood and your entertainment and literary. I have been kind of headfirst thrown into things, and then I have to figure things out, which is what I love about the Lord. If he has something for you to do and you're clueless, he's going to help you along the way. I've always, since I was young, right from school on, I would read for hours at night. I mean, story was my safe. We had a broken family. I didn't, in hindsight, I know this now, like it was just something that I really just was my life. I loved story. And so it's no surprise that I'm working with story today and everything. I mean, Jesus communicated to people through stories all the time. So I love that I fell into those things, whatever that looks like. It taught me everything I needed to do today. And so I ended up doing my management company, and I was purchased by a production company in California and came on as their director of development. And I did that until 21 before I decided, you know what, I want to curate content that I want to do and I want to be a part of. And so all of that was, maybe to your point, your question of secular or mainstream. So I have those connections. And then when I started Fear Not Productions, I could bring in whatever I wanted. And in that, I'm working a lot in the faith space that just kind of has come my way. I didn't set out to do that. I don't mind doing it. It's story. So whether it's mainstream or Christian, if it's a story that I would watch on TV, that I would watch it, with others in the theater, I'm going to tell story if it's great.
No, I love that. And well, obviously now I know where fear not comes from. Not only is it biblical, right? But it's literally your life, JD. I mean, and I think that's what's so incredible is that we have to say yes. We have to go and do what we're going to do without even knowing how it's all going to turn out, and then we just have to trust the Lord, because we don't know what it's going to be like. And I love that. That's such a great testament to who you are and also what you're creating and how God uses all things together for his kingdom, really is what it all comes down to. And so he's trained you up all of these years, putting you in place to do all of these things that he has you doing right now, which is you're an executive producer, you're developing, you're writing, you're doing all of these things, but he didn't just throw you into that. He's actually given you all of the tools all the way through so that as you enter in, you can see how he's letting you use all of those now. I love that. I think that's so great. So talk a little bit about, and I love how you said that, like you kind of came into the faith world. It wasn't that you were pursuing that by any means. So what do you believe as far as right now in our content that's being created? What do you think that we could do better in the industry, specifically as believers, to provide really great content, whether film or television or, even the dramatic podcast stuff now? There's so many things, but what could we do better as Christians to really kind of up our game in the entertainment industry?
That's a loaded question.
It is, but it's a good one.
It is a good one. I think that you could even agree that our programming today is better than it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, right?
Yes.
The stigma that kind of early on attached itself to faith-based projects because for some reason the excellence wasn't there to even compete. I don't know if that's because no one invested, if we just didn't really know. I know for me, being nervous about doing faith-based stuff because just those resources early on hadn't been there. And so honestly, it was easier to talk to NBC or somebody at Hulu because they have expectations. And I don't know that we had expectations a while ago. I think we're getting there. And I know certainly people that I'm surrounding myself with now, and hopefully people feel the same about me coming into their world, is having a standard of excellence, and everybody that I'm working with is so talented and so wanting the same thing as what we can do better yet, because I think we're getting there. I think, speaking with Dallas Jenkins Studio, I love that their mindset is, we're doing things Hollywood style. Our King David series is X amount of millions of dollars, and that's what they do. That's what Hollywood does. So I'm like, this is awesome. That is something we could do better, is have A-listers come onto our projects, which I think they are now.
Hey friends, if you're enjoying today's episode, we'd love your support. Hit like, subscribe, comment, and share this video, which helps us grow the channel that directly supports the Women in My World and our mission to develop, educate, and launch Christian women in the entertainment and media industry. Every action you take truly makes a difference in our ministry. And now we'd like to share a brief video about the heart and mission behind the Women in My World. Thank you for being a part of this incredible journey with us. Hi, I'm Shari Rigby, the founder of the Women in My World. Our goal is simple but powerful. We focus on developing, educating, and launching Christian women in entertainment and media. Our aim is to train up emerging talent, empower them to craft impactful, God-honoring content across various platforms, and contribute to positive global change through leadership roles. We invest in women by providing opportunities to learn essential skills in their desired field. Through hands-on education and on-the-job training, we build a community of like-minded women who shepherd others to grow and flourish in their careers. The Women in My World has helped support and launch women into key positions, such as producers, script supervisors, production and costume designers, directors, makeup and hair artists, and so many more. These women have gone on to expand their resumes and their relationships, which have provided opportunities to work on major network television shows and feature films. Due to the small percentage of Christian women in decision-making roles in entertainment, believers must invest in their training, mentoring, and discipleship. These women can then become a voice to change in the negative narratives influencing our culture and shed light on topics we desperately need to tackle from a biblical worldview. The Women in My World is honored to help support women and their careers in entertainment and media as they bring redemptive stories to life and uplift, encourage, and influence the world for Christ.
I think that's really good. I think emerging, we evolve, right? We've grown a lot. And I think faith kind of came into, it's always been a standard to be, where does your project fall? Drama, comedy, rom-com. There's these areas. Well, faith kind of started to cookie cut into that and became a new base. And I think that they've just grown and evolved in that, right? So, but I think what I hear also, and just being now on the other side of the camera a lot of the times, is that what we're up against is budgets. Hollywood is not technically as consumed with trying to figure out how to make low budget movies and to squash you into a time frame that is almost unbearable to even get something done, and with the expectation on it. And I think that's some of the challenge, in the faith-based world. It's just it's a harder road to toll, and it's difficult because until we get to that space where they're really ready to invest the amount of money into it, whether it's in production or talent or pre or post, it's very difficult. You kind of get what you get. That's tough, but I think you did a great job with answering it. We kind of go through these shifts in entertainment, and so here they're making period pieces, and this is a new Western, and it's done really well. And you can tell that there's just a ton of money that's behind it. And, and then you go to the next thing over would be a rom-com or whatever it is. But it seems like the culture right now is asking for a certain level of content. Do you see that with the people in the studios that you're talking to? Are they looking for certain types of content, whether it's Westerns or faith or family, or what is it that you see is happening in the world today with entertainment and media?
Yeah, they say words like we want culturally relevant. It used to be that they wanted just kind of dark things. Mm-hmm. And now they're saying we want things that are affirming, things that are inspirational, and they're not speaking faith. They just want uplifting content now, which is great. In case any of your listeners have these projects, they're looking for procedurals that are not legal. Like they want procedurals, non-cop procedurals. I don't know what that looks like. I have yet to find that. They want the next Friday Night Lights. These are examples that they give me of things they're looking for, the next Virgin River. So they want what works. I've always get no period piece, because and then they make them every time you turn on the TV, there's a new historical. So I have not unlocked that mystery yet, because I have period pieces on my slate, and I'm just waiting for the day where we can get those done. I don't know. I'll think of others as they come, but those are the main things. If you think about, Friday Night Lights as a family, I get a lot of, we want what middle America would like. Mm-hmm. And I love that, because that generally means some sort of family drama that doesn't have to be faith per se, but it can just be a really good drama. And what I'm working on is Saltwater Cowboys. I just optioned this book series that ticks off the boxes of Virgin River and procedural, and it's romance, it's mystery, it's beautiful. I mean, small town on a beach. Come on. So it's like Virgin River-esque. So that I just optioned that book series in December, and Christy has sold over 5 million books. Like the IP, I couldn't believe it was available. I really thought I would be shut down, and I got it. So that's what I'm super excited about right now.
I love that. Well, and that's such a great, okay, we're going to lean into that because people are listening and, they're, first of all, you are now an executive producer, you're a showrunner, and that's a big deal. People don't understand those titles, but in the industry, they're very important and they give credibility to setting the stage for the next piece of content that you're going to be able to create, right? So as somebody's listening right now, what would you tell someone that has an aspiration to have a television series or to write a book or that exactly what you've just optioned, what would you tell them, kind of give them a couple steps that they would go through to encourage them and how they would work towards getting a series made with a series like that?
So I think networking is very important. I used to go to writers' conferences at least 3 or 4 a year. I know that can be spendy. I would try to go to local ones and just build your network. Now I think this is meant to be encouraging. It can sound discouraging, but it works. My process for having such a great network of executives that I have an open door to, I can pitch things to, was I would never make a cold call or anything like that. But what I do and have done probably for 6 or 7 years is I will email an introduction, ask if I can go over their mandates, just super brief. I don't ask anything. I don't pitch them anything. It's so inappropriate, right? So do things with a sense of etiquette and respect. But so I wish I had an example. I'll email someone, a director of development at a production company or a studio or a pod company, and just say, hey, here I am. I would love to chat with you if you have time in the next couple of weeks. I would love to learn what your mandates are. This is what I've done, and leave it in their hands. I can email 35 people and get a response from 3. Like the percentage is like 1%. That I have over 100 contacts now. I mean, that's how many people I've had to email over the years.
Wow.
But have opened doors of people that I normally would never have access to. And so you get on a call or a Zoom with them and you have that face to face and you're respectful and you don't push anything. That's how I have made my connections. And it sounds discouraging, like that 1%, but it's so fruitful. I've sold shows that way, just by these connections. So that's kind of what I would encourage people to do, is just don't give up when you're ignored 30 times, because it's that 31st person who might engage, and they love relationship. They don't want, I know for me on LinkedIn, if I make a connection with someone, 5 seconds later, I have pitches and links and everything. And I don't know. It's not like, how dare you? It's not like that at all. It's just like, look, I don't even know you. How about just say hi, introduce yourself. The people who say hi and thank you for connecting, I respond. I'm like, thank you for connecting. And that's that, right? It's just, I will never open a link. It's just a shame that people are so forceful out there, because you approach executives in LA that way, and I can't imagine anyone responding to you. So just be polite. I've been told many times that I am pleasantly persistent, and it's always said with like I just don't know if you're annoying me or not yet, and I love it. And then I'm like, yeah, I know I am.
And you smile at them. But what I love what you're saying here is that it is really about building relationships. There is a relationship basis. I used to tell this with mentoring the girls and working with different ones. I would always say, build your relationship first. That is always what's going to continue to grow and shine through. And I think that's really valuable information. So growing your relationship, looking at what are the mandates, and then how can these people who are desiring to create something, write something, or maybe they've already done that. Maybe they've already created the IP, but just trying to, step into it, build the relationship, and see how they can then cultivate that in a way that might be actually probably fruitful for both of them, for the person who on both sides of it. I love that you're in the entertainment industry, and I love your story. What is something that you've come across in this industry that you were really surprised by? You would have never, ever thought this is exactly the way that this was going to be.
You just have to persevere for free. You don't get paid until you get paid. That's surprising. Thankfully, I have an amazing husband who he supported me when I stumbled into being a talent agent. He never said, like, you have no idea what you're doing. What are you doing? Like, it was evident I didn't know what I was doing. He didn't have to say that, but he just was always, what do you need? How can I help? So I think just being persistent, I'm very driven, and that comes with impatience a lot. So I've really had to learn the business side is hurry up and wait. You're going to put in 2 years worth of passion, emotion, and work, and then have somebody cut you out. So there's that part. It's not for the faint of heart. That's why I love relationships, because if you have relationships with people, you're hopefully partnered in, right? You and I are working on a film together. You have put in so much passion and time and resources and energy. And I was thinking about it last night, Shari, and I'm like, I just want to see you be blessed by all of that time and energy. And there was this feeling of, we're partners on this. There's no me going forward without you ever. Like, that would never even cross my mind. You're like in this with me. So I think that when others have the ability to do that, it feels so cutthroat. But also, what the Lord has worked in my life the last 2 years is, that fear of missing out. When it would happen with me, I don't know where it starts physically, but it would start here, like, and I would just get all anxious and out of sorts. And then you're presuming all of these things. And one time, I just read in Matthew, it's like, don't have a fear of missing out. The Lord wants to give you the kingdom. That was like a revelation 2 years ago. I love how it goes live and works, right, in your life. And so that moment, I was like, I will no longer be anxious about this business. The Lord has so much, he's not limited. Like, all of these revelations, like, started coming to me. That person is not your provision. I'm your provision. Like, honestly, from that day 2 years ago, my mindset is holding things loosely now. I'm just like, Lord, anything I'm not even supposed to have on this slate, I don't care if you bring it down to 1 or 0. Please get rid of it. I just don't want to do anything that you don't want me to do. And I know that you are going to, Fear Not Productions is his. Why would we do this, Shari, if we did not feel the grace of God? Because this is not this is really not fun all the time. Like, I love what I do. I can't believe I get to do it. But I mean, I tease my husband sometimes, like, you know what? I would love to be a barista at Starbucks. Like, that would just,
right?
Love to be with people, make them my favorite drink. And I mean, I love coffee. Like, all of that sounds fun too. I don't know how people do this without the Lord or the grace or the favor. I have favor. We all have favor that is unearned. You just have favor because he is our Father. And so I get to speak to people that, as a person from Spokane, Washington, shouldn't be speaking with. Like, I have no right to, on paper, in the business Hollywood world, to be speaking to these people, but for the Lord that paved that way. And I love when I'm naive. I love when I'm talking to someone and I'm just being whatever. And later I find out who they were, or someone would say, I can't believe, and I'm like, why? Who are they? And I seriously, I love that so much.
I love it. I love it. Well, and that's there's so much there that is so good to think through. I mean, one of the things I clue into right there is like, man, this industry, this life, the things that we're doing right now, it's really tough. You got to love it. You got to feel like you've been called to it. It is not for the faint of heart. People will beat you up, shred you, spit you out. It's a very, I don't know, there's so many pieces of it. And that happens all the time. Without the Lord, I don't know where I would be with it, because it's just too much. There's so many days I'm like, I just want to go to work and I can smile at people and really enjoy them. And then I can go home and I never have to worry about anybody else again. And, but God knows you've been called to the industry to do what you're doing. And I do believe that's a powerful thing. Tell us before, there's a couple more questions that I want to ask you before we go. But with that being said, you have done, you start off as, you're a mom, first of all, of 5 boys. If you don't have the strength and tenacity, lady, to get going what you need to do with 5 boys, I don't know who's going to. Then you go to being a talent agent and the list just kind of keeps going on and on and on. So with everything you've kind of shared with us at this point, how would you define success as to where JD is at right now?
I feel funny about that because I don't think I have arrived at success. I don't know, but maybe that looks different for other people. I don't know what that looks like. Does that mean, to me, it does not mean standing up and getting an award. That is not a motivating factor of mine. I think success would be, I know. Okay. Making a movie that changes lives. And I don't mean that in an agenda way. I just mean a movie that gets people talking. I love thought-provoking shows that make me just look at people differently in a better way. I know you and I have our movie that's pretty much what I'm talking about, is called Between the Lines, and we have such a big vision for it. Small group materials, women's groups speaking to this movie, just maybe just like a ground swell of conversation to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be success if I could be like, make something so important to people.
Between the Lines is a really powerful story. And what I love about what you're saying about that is these are the kind of stories that you want people to be able to see and then to be able to go on a journey with these characters. And then there's life-changing situations, right? There's redemption, there's restoration, there's, all these things that we tackle as human beings every day. That's success, to be able to do something that is so powerful in lives of people and then to point them back towards the Lord and their faith. Share a little bit about what you're doing right now, how people can follow you or just to see what you're doing. I know you're like, and that's another thing I love about you, JD, is like, yeah, you can check me out at Fear Not Productions, but she's got an awesome LinkedIn. Okay, let me just tell you all that. She's got an awesome LinkedIn. But tell us what you're working on now and how people can continue to go on this journey with you.
I am looking to develop Saltwater Cowboys. That's on my radar. I was commissioned to adapt a true story, a book. So I am currently in the outline phase of that. It's very honoring to be able to tell somebody else's real true story. And I take that very seriously. I love writing too. I'm looking forward to being a produced writer someday. So for now, I'm just working on those things. I have a movie called Leaving Memphis that is ready to go into production. But I can't, I probably, until things are signed, can't share who's attached to it yet, but it's on IMDb. So you could look at the director. His name is Jonathan Prince. He's a Hollywood veteran. He's amazing to work with and for, and hopefully I'll be in production on that movie here. It's a family drama. It's actually a dramedy. And so it's super sweet, family friendly and uplifting and all those things. It's also mainstream. We're in post of County Rescue, so that will be airing in the second season will be airing the last week of February, I believe, or the first week of March.
Coming up.
Yeah, we're doing music right now. It's getting there.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm developing, writing, and going to be producing. And my goal is I hope I can do 3 movies this year. That would be awesome. Between the Lines, definitely.
We're
With
getting
you.
that one done, aren't we?
You.
Yes. It's going to be good. It's going to be great.
Yes.
Well, I'm excited for you because you're doing such great work. And I have to say, and I think I told you this before, but when I was on County Rescue, I just, as an executive producer, you were just gold. I thought you were wonderful. I thought you You just had a resilience, but you also just had such a passion and a sweetheart. And I loved the way you work and your style. And I think that the Lord has just blessed you and really shown you favor, because you have such this, you just feel it when you're around you. You just radiate this, I don't know, it's a love for others and an encouraging spirit. And so I think he has a lot planned for you as you continue to go forward. So I'm excited to see what you're going to do next. And I'm inspired also as a boy mom, just to watch, like, you've raised children, you're married, and you've got this whole life. You and I need to do another podcast where we just talk about our families. And then here you are, God has given you a new season in your life, and you're doing incredible things for the kingdom, and he's going to continue to use you mightily. So I'm excited I get to watch you shine. Thank you so much for being with me today. And I'm just really excited. And thank you for being a part of the Women in My World.
Thank you for having me. I love hanging out with you.
Well, it's funny. We were talking earlier, one of the girls, and, just to see how you and so many other women have left your fingerprints on this industry and on the women who are really making a difference. And I just want to thank you for that. It's really, really an amazing thing to watch. And I'm so grateful just to have that.
Thank you so much.
We hope today's episode inspired you. If it did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with somebody in your world so we can reach more and more amazing women in entertainment and media. We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a comment below. Your support truly means the world to us, and it helps us keep doing this important work. Also, don't miss out on signing up for our newsletter, and you get our acting prep guide for free. It's packed with tips to help you step into your purpose. If you feel led, also please consider donating to support our ministry. All the links are in the show notes below. We can't wait to hear from you to join us next time.
Blessing in disguise.